All right, let's talk about something that's all around us but totally invisible: radio frequency interference. We're going to get right down to the fundamental physics of how this invisible noise gets created in the first place and how it travels through our world to mess with all our favorite gadgets.
Now, just so you know, what we're covering today comes from a really great resource. This is part 9 of a 20-part tutorial from RFI Detectives called Radio Frequency Interference Beyond Wi-Fi. It's published by a part of the Virtualization Options LLC family. This is a fantastic guide for anyone who's pretty tech-savvy. And today, we're really zeroing in on Chapter 9, which is all about how this interference actually gets from point A to point B.
So let's start with something you've probably experienced. Your car remote works perfectly fine in your driveway, but then you drive to one specific parking lot and nothing. It's completely dead. Why? Well, it's not bad luck or some weird mystery. It's just physics. And to figure it out, we have to go right back to the beginning. To really understand this journey, we have to start at the source. We're going to go right inside an electronic device to see the exact moment that unwanted radio frequency energy, that little invisible spark, is actually born.
You see, pretty much every electronic device creates radio waves. Some are intentional, right? Like the clean, purposeful signal from your Wi-Fi router. But a whole lot of them are just accidents. They're the chaotic, noisy side effects of a circuit just doing its job, like digital clocks switching millions of times a second, or a power supply converting voltage. That unintentional noise, that's the seed of RFI.
And here's where it gets really sneaky. This noise doesn't just stay put. There's a process called harmonic generation. Let's say a digital circuit is switching at a basic frequency of 10 megahertz. You'd think the noise would only be at 10 megahertz, wouldn't you? Nope. That rapid switching creates unwanted energy at multiples of that frequency, what we call harmonics. So now you've got noise at 20, 30, even 100 megahertz and beyond. And that's a huge deal, because it means a low-frequency device can easily create high-frequency noise that messes with a completely different system.
Okay, so this unwanted energy has been created inside a device. But how does it get out? How does it escape and start causing trouble for everything else? Well, it turns out there are 3 main escape routes or pathways it can take.
The first pathway is radiation. This is when interference travels right through the open air, just like a radio station broadcast. The crazy part is, any wire, any cable, even a tiny crack in a device's case can act like an unintentional antenna, just blasting that noisy energy out into the world for any nearby device to pick up. The second pathway is conduction. This is when the interference literally hitches a ride on physical wires. Think of the AC power lines in your house as a superhighway for RFI. A noisy device, like a cheap phone charger, can just dump all its interference onto that power line, and that noise can travel directly into any other gadget plugged into that same circuit, from your stereo to your computer. And the third pathway is induction. This happens when 2 cables are running close together and parallel to each other. The magnetic field from a noisy power cable can actually create or induce an unwanted electrical current in a sensitive signal cable right next to it. It's like a tiny unwanted wireless transformer, passing noise from one wire to another without them ever even touching. So, just to recap, we've got these 3 pathways. Interference can travel through the air as radiation, hitch a ride on wires with conduction, or jump between cables through induction. If you can get your head around these 3, you're in a great position to diagnose where interference is coming from. Now that we know how interference is born and how it travels, let's talk about the environment it's traveling through. Because it's not an empty space out there, it is an incredibly crowded room. And for the perfect example, let's look at one frequency band, 2.4 gigahertz. You shouldn't think of this as a private channel. Think of it more like a public park on a holiday weekend where dozens of different technologies are all trying to have a conversation at the exact same time. And who's in this park? Well, you've got your Wi-Fi routers, your Bluetooth headphones, your microwave oven. Yep, your microwave, plus older cordless phones, baby monitors, even wireless keyboards. They are all competing for the exact same slice of the airwaves, which creates an unbelievably noisy and congested environment. You know, the source material puts it perfectly. It says, the explosive growth in wireless device deployment has filled many allocated bands to capacity, with multiple devices competing for a limited spectrum. The bottom line here is that even perfectly designed devices can interfere with each other, just because there isn't enough space for everyone to talk at once. So let's put all the pieces together. We have interference being created inside a device, it's traveling along one of 3 different pathways, and it's entering an already crowded environment.
Now we can finally connect these ideas to explain why RFI problems are often so specific to one particular place.
And this brings us full circle. Why that one parking lot? We have all the pieces of the puzzle now. It's not just about one noisy device. It's about how all those different signals interact with each other in a specific physical space.
The final piece is something called multipath propagation. Radio waves don't just travel in a straight line. They bounce off everything: buildings, cars, the ground. All these reflected signals arrive at your car's receiver at slightly different times. In some spots, these reflections can add up and create a hotspot of intense interference that just drowns out your remote signal. In other spots, maybe just a few feet away, they can actually cancel each other out, creating a dead zone where your remote signal just can't get through. That is why sometimes moving just a few steps makes all the difference.
And there you have it. From a tiny spark inside a circuit to a journey through air and wires into a crowded spectrum and finally bouncing off the world around us, that's the entire life of radio frequency interference. Now that you can visualize these invisible pathways, take a moment and think, what's the noisiest spot in your home?